This is the radio of the University of Babel introduce the great revolution of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. This program is prepared and introduced by Dr. Ma'an Zwain al-Husseini, the director, Rafa' Abdul Qadir. At the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. My God, send your mercies upon Muhammad and his kin and his family. Thanks God for all your offers that you gave to us. We are very thankful to you, my God, because you are offering us a plenty of things that we doesn't thank you about these things. My dear listeners, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I've mentioned in the last episode that there is two bases of the Imam's revolution, great revolution, as you know. I've mentioned the first base, that the revolution of Hussein alayhi salam was started for religious reasons. And I've mentioned with two branches of it. One branch, the main important cause to start a revolutionary war is the occurrence of Islam being a victim by the land or the hand of Umayyad. The second one that I want to mention is the fact that the succession is announced to the householders, peace be upon them, after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family, especially Hussein alayhi salam, in a will of the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, announced him and his brother Hassan, peace be upon him. Hassan and Hussein are Imams. Whatever they sit, agree to peace, treaty, or stand, go to the war. This is the will of the Prophet Muhammad. They don't want to ignore it, to know it. They put this will under their legs. And to this tradition, Imam Hussein alayhi salam started in is saying, we are the householders, as the priority to take the responsibility than those who pretended what does belong to them. The second base that I have mentioned, the first one before this time, the second base is which the revolution founded upon. It is Muawiyah did not meet the conditions of the peace treaty between him and Imam al-Hassan alayhi salam, which stated to return the government leadership to the al-Hassan after Muawiyah's death. If nothing happened to al-Hassan, peace be upon him, otherwise it is to Al-Hussein alayhi salam. After him means after Muawiyah's, and if something happened to him, then it is to Al-Hussein alayhi salam. Muawiyah has no right to entrust him to anyone. But Muawiyah, after the finishing of the treaty, he sealed it with his stamp to ensure it, gave his promises, swore to work on it, witnessed all the heads of people of Sham, that's Syria nowadays. But he did not fulfill any condition, even he passed his crown to his son Yazid. And this was the second reason for raising the revolution of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. We know, of course, my dear listeners, the result of this revolution, but we want to mention the result of this great revolution in Islam in someone's view. Even though the revolution did not win on its time in general, customary view, but its winnings were incorporeal or introductory, as it speaked or it sparked furor in the middle of the society during the age of the revolution. Hussein alayhi salam stance and his persistence on the day of tough Ashura is what pulled the trigger in the crowded councils, which allowed to intellectual awareness plus the stances of his partner of jihad, his sister Al-Hawra Zainab, peace be upon her, alayhi salam, the strong pillar which the revolution based on its extension, and the reason of their proliferating, she uncovered with that stances all the false-filled curtain made by Umayyad to hide the truth of the revolution, which resulted the following: using the blood of Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, as an excuse to do the internal revolution, especially to Alawids, and this idiom means the progeny of Imam Ali alayhi salam. For example, the revolution of Zayd ibn Ali alayhi salam. The second one exposed the oppressed rules and the exposure of the reality of Umayyad, sick mentality, which being used for evil, which turns people against them. And number 3, the remains of the rememberness of the revolution leader is the ideal of the great sacrifice for the sake of justice. My dear listeners, this is enough for today, and I want to make a meeting with you in another episode. Till we meet again, this is my greeting. From me, I'm Dr. Ma'an Zwain Al-Husseini. Thank you for listening, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.